will be conducted in the spring. Everyone harvesting a grass carp and show a carcass will get a raffle ticket, and we'll determine what it is. It's just to encourage. We need to thin out the grass carp population. And last, catfish stocking from the aquaculture ponds occurred this past week.
Was the shocking just on Norwood, or do they do all lakes?
Shockingly, I do not
Shockingly,
know.
you don't. You're here all week. Thanks, Tom. Financials, that's out. Are you going to do them?
Yep, I'm going to do them. Just a reminder for November and December, we give a partial update because the meetings occur earlier in the month, and we always ask for your patience as we go into January when you're looking for the previous month, because that's the end of the year and so forth. But you'll see that we have a lot of good results for the month of November. Revenue for the month was up by $251,000 overall for the consolidated, and year-to-date up $1.6 million. For the POA for the month of November, up $62,000, and for the year up $900,000, and for water $190,000 for the month and $674,000 for the year. So just a strong month revenue-wise. Of course, this is only part of the equation. You don't have expenses or payroll in there, but at least a good indicator on revenue. And you can see how each of them did compared to budget. You see that water did very well, and water connections and so forth, F&B over budget. Green fees are up. We just got a report today from Daryl. Looks like we're going to end the year at about 216,000 rounds. That compares to 203 last year. So a nice increase. So, and that is the brief revenue report for the month. Huh? Thumbs up? Yeah.
Thumbs up.
Yeah, all thumbs up. Happy news before Christmas.
Very good, thank you. Open forum. You just came to view. You didn't want to. Did you want to speak? Just view.
not.
Okay. And no emails, right, Jessica? Okay. Moving right along. Request for the funds for the reserve of the gun range.
So if you recall that earlier this year, or actually it's into last year now, we had the emergency project of the gun range. At the time that we got approval from the board, because we're doing it in-house, we didn't know the exact amount. You know, if we had another company do it for us, we would have had a bid, but since we did it in-house, and we had to learn as we go along. So at that time, we talked about using funds from the POA reserve for this, but we didn't nail that down. And so now that we're approaching the completion of the project, we should be opening the range middle of February if all goes well, weather, everything. So we're asking for a transfer from the POA reserve for $300,000. At the end of this year, we anticipate we will be, even with this deduction, we'll be at $974,000 in our POA reserve.
Thank you.
I would make a motion authorizing the transfer of $300,000 from the POA reserve for the renovation of the gun range.
Thank you, David. Jerry? We've talked about this quite a bit. Any further discussion on that? Sandy?
I don't know that any of us ever asked that. Is that what it ended up costing, was $300,000?
We don't have all the bills in yet. It'll probably be 300, maybe a little bit more than that, but we don't have all the bills in yet. But we're only going to ask for the $300,000. We're not going to true up at the end of it.
It's looking good out there for sure.
Yeah.
I agree. I'd just say to Jason's comment, the newsletters are showing nice pictures of that if the members want to look at that for the progress instead of driving out there, that it looks great.
Yeah, our marketing team's doing a good job. The drone footage and taking pictures, keeping the membership informed. That and at the Tainted Creek, they're doing a great job.
Is that the drone coverage we're getting at 3 a.m. in the morning?
Too soon, JP, too soon. Any further discussion? All right, let's go to a vote. All in favor of authorizing the transfer of $300 from the reserve to the gun? 300,000, sorry, $300, sure. 300,000 from the reserve to the gun range. In favor, aye. No opposed, 9-0. Thank you.
The next one is, we're seeking a waiver for the tennis court project. Anytime a project goes over budget more than 10%, we are required, it's a check and balance, so we're required by our audit firm to get a waiver. The tennis court project came in at $25,955 compared to a budget of $22,500. As I indicated last week, the main reason for that is when you have the project, we go to budget almost a year before the project actually occurs, so it's very hard to estimate. We try and build in a contingency, but that doesn't always work. So we are asking for a waiver.
I move that we authorize a waiver for the tennis court resurfacing capital project, which cost $25,955 compared to the budget of $22,500.
Thank you, Jeff.
I'll second.
JB, thank you. Any further discussion on this project? No? All in favor?
The last project, this last item is an addition. It was not covered at the work session. It is timely, so we're trying to move forward on this. We have a request for the use of common property for a failed septic system. The septic system is at 26
Quilted.
Sure, Colton Drive. And they are seeking to traverse over common property to get to a neighboring lot and put the septic system on there. Originally, I'd informed the board that Mike Taggart was going to be here. He failed to remember or was reminded by his spouse that it is his son's birthday. So he begged forgiveness and is not here. So Doug is 100% up to speed on this. So if you have any very specific questions that I am unable to answer.
So this has been through the whole process, the pages and pages and pages of red tape, been through all that.
It's a very long process, as you know, to
Yeah.
get through all of that and make sure that they've tried everything they can to fix the system first, and if all else fails, then they finally come to the POA. But they have to demonstrate, and we document all of those steps that they have to take to get permission, to seek permission from the POA.
Yeah, it's not just the POA.
It's the Department of Health.
Yeah.
and they
And the
go-
city.
Okay, and the normal fees apply.
Correct.
That's correct. And
And there's
just
a new ad.
we added, so we created a checklist 4 or 5 years ago, really to standardize the entire process. And so you see in your board packet, and for those at home, if you go onto the board packet, you can see the checklist. And so it's very comprehensive. We most recently added an item is, if the work is not completed with 1 year, the application will be terminated and the fees will be forfeited. A new application will be required, and application fees paid for reconsideration. What we had found is a handful, literally like 2 or 3, had received approval, and then nobody did anything. And we're like, what's going on? Why you came to us asking for our assistance, and you told us that you needed this to be done right away, and nothing. So we added that clause just to cover that instance.
Could we go to page, what it says page 12 on here, the checklist, it looks like, what the POA requires. And there are check marks in the top, but the one that says approval of the board of directors, the homeowner must attend the board meeting. Are you by any chance the homeowner?
No, he's not. So normally, in a situation, is one would hope that they would be able to come to maybe the GM meeting or the work session, and
Okay.
we'd invite them there. But because of the time frame,
Okay.
if we don't, and the board has, it's their decision whether to approve or not. If we don't approve today, then,
Yeah.
you know, it's over a month beforehand. And keep in mind, they've been dealing with this situation, and it's the same thing for every application that we get. They've been dealing with this situation for multiple months. Just to get in front of us is,
Yeah.
how long, you guess?
Yeah, it's 4 to 6 months because they have to go out and get a new design representative. They have to, design a new septic system. So it's a very lengthy process.
Yeah.
So we're just trying to, work with the property owner and move it forward. If you feel uncomfortable in any way and you want to delay, we can have them come out next month. I don't think they're going to tell you anything different from what we can tell you tonight.
Well, I just wondered, the checklist is there and it's
I
not
agree.
checked.
We're just trying to be.
I agree with you.
We're just trying to be good stewards and
Yeah.
try and move it along to help them because they're in a bad situation. If you read the documentation, they
Yeah.
had to live in a hotel for a little while and so forth. So that's a challenging situation.
And I, just from looking at the aerial view,
Yeah.
we're not destroying
No.
common property.
No.
We're literally running a
A
line
very
across it.
simple little crossway.
It's about a 25 foot stretch. We ask them to avoid trees so there's no damage to foliage. It goes underground. The negative impact to the POA is minimal.
Well, and Jeff, you brought that, I was gonna say, to explain traversing is not putting a whole leach field out, it's literally a pipe connecting to the about the next property over, right?
Yeah.
Another-
Yeah.
Right behind them, right?
Right behind them, which is, they're very fortunate. If you looked at the overhead map, they're in a little island. And if someone else in that island has a failure,
Yeah,
oh boy.
yeah.
This was a new construction, newer
Yeah,
construction?
it sounds like
Why
they
did
were,
it fail? I see it here, they've tried all sorts of things to fix it, but surely a perk test was done originally. The health department wouldn't have let them build without it.
Right.
Yeah, that's right. It's a year and a half old, the house is, and so for it to fail that quickly is very, very, very uncommon. They've never really been able to pinpoint how it failed. It was, like you said, designed by a licensed designer and installed by a licensed installer. So you presume that they have done it according to how, their licensing requirements. But if you also look at the contours, the lot that they're on is pretty flat. So sometimes when you see those, and again, the design representative would take that into consideration, the steepness of the lot, but, it's just conjecture at this point how it failed.
I think you might go into, it works 99% of the time and here's the 1%.
We need a motion. I move that we authorize management to enter into an agreement with the owners of 26 Coylton Drive, parcel number 16-26562-000, to traverse common property to connect with the leach field, which will be placed on parcel 16-26571-000.
Thanks, Jeff.
She second.
Kathleen, second. Any further discussion? Jerry, did you have a question? Did you have a question?
No.
No?
I just, because.
Yeah, go ahead.
Because of JB's pointing that out, it says must. So if we're not, I think it would be prudent of us to put in their clause that we recognized, it said must, but due to time constraints or something, they did not. And
So actually, Doug and I are going to suggest some modifications to the policy.
We have a bunch of things.
And we've already sent something to JB, and we're going to have it considered in January. Yeah, we're looking to Rules and Regulations agenda actually has 3 items
Three-
at it at
three,
this
boy.
point, so
I'm happy.
we picked up a couple
You're gonna
things.
miss it?
Did- Is this, I mean, they knew they were gonna need to come in front of us according to these rules. Is this a situation where we just got overlooked?
Absolutely no. No, they were fully prepared to come in, but Doug and I are always trying to look at it from the eyes of the customer, of the property owner that is struggling.
Yes.
And we try and move it forward as quickly as possible. If this was I think that requirement was created when, if you're talking about a builder that's building a spec home and wants to traverse, hey, let's come bring them in here. But this is a property owner that's in a really bad spot. We're just trying to move it forward. If the board disagrees, we can absolutely delay this to January. But if it was me and my home and I was in this tough spot, boy, I wish we'd move as quickly as possible.
I'm all for helping them out. This isn't a huge problem for the POA. We have the rule, and to me, somebody that looks at that checklist, they could have been here 2 weeks ago is the only point I was trying to make. I'm all for helping them out. But if we're gonna have the rule, then do it, or we're gonna modify it, whatever. But I'm just saying, it's not a big deal. Let's move it forward and get it
And they
back in place.
finalized the paperwork on the same day that I sent it out to you guys. So
Yeah.
I think
Yeah,
I sent it
that's-
to you on Tuesday, and that was when I got it. So we wouldn't have been able to have them come out for the work session or anything like, because it wasn't done by then.
This just shows you how, I'm gonna use the word tricky, not tricky is not a good word, but how difficult it is sometimes to write rules and regulations that apply to every situation without being too strict or too lenient. So we're looking at it again, that's good.
Yep.
So looking at this, what it says, they must come before us, but what are we going to learn? Because we have the checklist of everything that they've gone through to this point to get to us, so we're probably not going to learn anything more in this case. And, if you and Doug are working on tweaking to take this into account, that's good. I think we go ahead and I don't think there's any reason why this one wouldn't fly or wouldn't go through, so.
So, point of information, do we need to amend that we're waiving that requirement for this? Is that critical, or?
It's not a part of, that's part of our internal policy. So
Okay.
it's not a part of the policy that's been
All right.
approved by the board.
And instead of saying must or shall, we say the board may require or something?
And it's a checklist that we've used internally and procedurally. It's not a policy that you're waiving a requirement for. It's just an internal.
So it's not making the POA at risk for anything?
It's not.
It's just to help us cross our
Correct.
T's and
Yeah.
dot our I's.
Good.
Excuse me, any further conversation, discussion? No? All right,
Do we
all
call
in
for the
favor
vote?
of helping these members out? Thank you. Wow, that's it. That was quick.
That's all I got. Merry Christmas to everybody.
All right, spend more time on announcements. Here we go. End of January 2025, Lakes JAC meeting is Wednesday, January 8th at 2 here in the boardroom and live stream. Rules and reg, that JB's happy. They have 3 topics to discuss. January 9th, 1:30 at the boardroom and live stream. Board of Directors General Meeting, which is a closed meeting, is 2:30 on January 9th. Recreation JAC Monday, January 13th at 4 here in the boardroom and live stream. The Board of Directors work session is Thursday, January 16th at 9 a.m. here in the boardroom and live stream. Board candidate informational meeting. We had one already, right? This is the second?
We had one yesterday.
Perfect.
And we'll have one in January and one additional one in January, one additional one in February, for a total of 3.
Perfect. That's January 21st at 4 in the boardroom. This is designed to provide a better understanding of the board members, board and its responsibilities. The Board of Directors regular session is Thursday, July 23rd at 6 p.m. here in the boardroom and live stream. And then that third meeting, for the candidate information is February 4th at 4 here in the boardroom. Golf's JAC will resume in February 12th at 4 PM here in the boardroom and live stream. Anything else from anybody?
I'd just like to say, Tom, your entire staff and all of the members that work for the POA would like to wish them a Merry Christmas. Thank them for all their hard work. They are an excellent team. It was a pleasure to meet so many of them the other day at lunch, and I'm just really proud to be part of this organization. Merry Christmas to you all, and thank you for what you do.
And thank you for those who were able to make it. Really appreciate you guys coming to the employee Christmas party and helping out and so forth, and meeting a lot of the employees. They really appreciate it. We have an outstanding crew, and we're very proud of them.
Even the Grinch made an appearance.
Yeah. There's a joke in there, and I'm gonna pass hard. I'm gonna pass.
Yes, Deborah, I second that. Merry Christmas, everybody. Everybody have safe holidays, and we'll see you, everybody, in 2025. Excellent. Thank you. Meeting adjourned. Sorry.
So I'll see you at that July 23rd meeting.
Did I say July instead of January?
That's okay.
Oh,
It's all right.
there's too many.